Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Not at the office. I was off today at the house, but when New York Knicks news happens, we break it down and get it to you guys faster than anybody else. So that's why you should go down right now and hit that big red button, because when the Knicks make a trade and they trade Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to the Detroit Pistons, we are going to keep you guys up to date. And with NBA free agency opening up in less than 48 hours, we are going to be your one-stop shop on YouTube all free agency long. So hit that big red button and help us get to 8,000 subscribers. But what for the reason for today's show, the Knicks make a move. Leon Rose and the New York Knicks are trying to we're trying to clear salary cap space throughout the week. They were trying to get rid of Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel, maybe Cam Reddish, maybe Derrick Rose, maybe Evan Fournier, but Adrian Wojnarowski dropped a Woj bomb just a couple of minutes ago and said the New York Knicks are trading center Nerlens Noel and guard Alec Burks to the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks will unload $19 million more in salary cap space, clearing the way to have $30 million in cap space to go out and sign Jalen Brunson. The Knicks, they will send Detroit back its 2023 second round pick and a 2024 second round pick via Miami and $6 million to have the Detroit Pistons take on the salary cap holds of Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks, which goes up to $19 million. And with the Knicks getting off of Burks and Noel, they now have $30 million to spend in free agency. And the rumors are the Knicks are expected to spend all $30 million on Jalen Brunson. But we'll get to Brunson in a second. I want to get you guys and everyone watching today's at-home video on New York Knicks Now. No fancy graphics, sorry about that. But when news happens, I want to get it to you guys. I want you to grade the trade of the Knicks sending Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks in 2 second-round picks to the Detroit Pistons. Grade it for me. Get out your red pen. Let me know how you feel about the trade. This was clearly a salary cap space clearing move, a salary cap dump, whatever you want to call it, so the Knicks can be bigger players in NBA free agency. So grade the move. A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comment section right now. When you think about this move, it makes it feel like they are all in on Brunson. We've known that. Reports came out today from Tim McMahon, probably the best and closest and most tapped in Dallas Mavericks beat reporter, said that the expectation is that Jalen Brunson will sign a 4-year, $100 million deal in NBA free agency with the New York Knicks, totaling about $25 million per year. So now the Knicks have the money to make that happen. They're most likely going to renounce the rights to Ryan Arcidiacono and waive Taj Gibson, who doesn't have a guaranteed salary this year, all in pursuit to go and make a move happen for Jalen Brunson. Let's talk about Brunson. A lot of people and everyone on Knicks Twitter is all about this move for Brunson. 4 years, 100 million, 4 years, 110 million is way too much. And I push back on that for a lot of reasons. And first, let's just talk about what Jalen Brunson is as a player. He's a bulldog on the offensive end. 6'1", 6'1.5", 6'2", but plays bigger than he is. Not the most agile athlete, not going to beat you off the cup, rise and dunk it above you, but he is extremely crafty inside the three-point arc. The Knicks were the most inconsistent two-point shooting team in the NBA with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle leading the way. And Brunson is one of the most efficient players in the NBA inside the arc. Brunson didn't start the season as a starter for the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks started really slow. But when Brunson stepped into that starting lineup and started 61 games in total this year, he showed that he could be a franchise point guard, averaging 17.5 points per game, 5 assists, 50+% from the field, 38+% from three, a 58.7 true shooting percentage with only a 22.7 usage rate. And he did that all alongside Luka Doncic, who is one of the most ball-dominant players in the NBA. Brunson wants to go and play for the Knicks for a multitude of reasons. Because of his dad, the family ties to Leon Rose, all of that for sure. But he also wants to be the face of the franchise. He wants to be the lead ball handler. That's reported. He wants to be the guy that says, get on my back. I want to do it for the team. And for so long, we've dogged a lot of these NBA All-Stars as New York Knicks fans, saying that they're afraid to come to New York and take on the challenge and the media pressure of New York and playing for the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden, in the mecca of basketball. We've talked a lot about players that haven't been wanting to take on that challenge. Jalen Brunson does. Does signing for $100 million make it easier and make it more, appetizing? For sure. But I want to give credit for Brunson to say, you know what? The Knicks, they're not as close to competing for a championship as the Dallas Mavericks are. But I want to go over there, be the face of the franchise, be the person that makes the New York Knicks great again. Because the person that does that is going to be a New York City and New York Knicks legend forever, a lifetime. Jalen Brunson, I'm not saying can be that guy. But the fact that he has the mindset and is willing to take that challenge, that gets respect points for me. And he's also just a baller. And we know that, averaging 22 points per game in 18 playoff games, dropping 40 in a playoff game. You know how many New York Knicks have dropped 40 points in a playoff game in a win? It's not a lot. The last two people in New York Knicks jerseys to do that were Carmelo Anthony back in 2012 and Patrick Ewing back in 1990. The only two Knicks in the past 30 years to score 40 points in a playoff game and win, Carmelo Anthony and Patrick Ewing. And Jalen Brunson did that in game 2, round 1 in the Western Conference playoffs against the Utah Jazz this year without Luka Doncic. I'm not saying that Jalen Brunson is that guy. He's not going to be the savior to the New York Knicks, but he's a piece that fits the timeline of the Knicks. He's 25 years old. He knows what it takes to win in this league. He learned from Dirk. He played alongside Luka. He was the second best player on a team that just made it to the Western Conference Finals, where he played really great. Played against some great defenses in the Golden State Warriors, where he averaged 18 points per game that series and went 50% from the field and 40% from three. Brunson is a primetime player, and we need to stop acting as Knicks fans like he's a scrub. But we all can have different opinions. We're not all going to agree. That's what I love about New York Knicks Now and Chat Sports. We're called Chat Sports for a reason, because we like to embrace, debate, and start the conversation. So to end the Brunson segment, I'll ask this question. Do you even want Jalen Brunson on the Knicks? Don't think about the money. Don't think about anybody else. Just the type of player he is. Do you want him on the Knicks? Type Y for yes, I do want Jalen Brunson on the Knicks. Type N for no, I do not want Brunson on the Knicks. But just like this, when and if Jalen Brunson officially signs to the Knicks, we will be breaking it down on this channel. And check out our other videos so you see what the setup's really like. We got a nice studio in Dallas, Texas. We got graphics. It looks really cool. We can get your guys' pictures up on screen. Check out some other videos we got. But stay up to date by subscribing to the channel. Nobody's going to cover the Knicks throughout free agency like we will. And I can promise you can ask other subs. We crushed the draft. We're covering the Knicks like crazy. So go down right now and hit that big red button. This just coming from Mark Stein. He said, if you had any remaining doubt that the Knicks were about to sign Jalen Brunson, sending both Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to Detroit suggests the Knicks are all in on Brunson and doing even more after. This move creates $30 million in cap space. I would not be surprised if Brunson does not sign for $30 million. I could see him signing for $25 million. So you still have $5 million to go out and sign a good player, and you also have the 11.2 non-taxpayer mid-level exception to go out and sign somebody. And then you're going to be able to go out and sign Mitchell Robinson, which sounds like that's a done deal. Mark Stein reported that last week around Friday, and he doubled down today, saying it sounds like Mitchell Robinson to the New York Knicks is a done deal. So if you walk out of day one of NBA free agency, say you give Brunson 4 years, $100 million, and you re-sign Mitchell Robinson, and you still have $5 million to spend, as well as $11.2 million on somebody else, you can shape out this roster to be a competitor in the East. The East is tough. There's a lot of great teams, no doubt about it. But the Knicks are in a much better spot than they were last year around this time. They're already correcting the mistakes of the deals they made last year. They traded Alec Burks. They traded Nerlens Noel. They're going to waive Taj Gibson. Those three moves did not work out. Hopefully, Derrick Rose can remain healthy, and that move does work out for the Knicks. Because I love D Rose. I love the passion he plays with. I don't think he gets enough respect for the way he resurrected his game, going from a high flyer to a great mid-range shooter and three-point shooter. So I want to give love to D Rose. But let's talk about Mitchell Robinson. The Knicks sounds like they're going to re-sign him. But for how much money? How much money is Robinson worth? Some of the highest paid centers in the NBA make north of $30 million. Jared Allen last year signed that 5-year, $100 million deal to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think Mitchell Robinson is worth $20 million, but I could see him signing for $15 million. But if you already go out and re-sign or sign Jalen Brunson, you need to just go ahead and get Mitchell Robinson's deal done, as well as extend RJ Barrett. Because this cap space you have now is going to get used up sooner or later by that Mitchell Robinson extension or re-signing or the RJ Barrett extension. So the time is now. But I'll end the show with this. If you want Mitchell Robinson back on the New York Knicks, if you want to see number 23 patrolling the blue paint on the MSG floor, I want you to type 23 in the comment section right now. I want the chat flooded with 23s. Mitchell Robinson, I feel like sometimes doesn't get enough love. I'm hard on him, but I just know he could be great, and I want the absolute best out of him. So if you want to see Mitchell Robinson back in MSG with the New York Knicks wearing blue and orange, go down right now and type number 23. I want to appreciate everybody that's made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. Had to get you guys an at-home video to talk about the trade of Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel going to the Detroit Pistons, as well as 2 future first-round picks, where the Knicks cleared $19 million in cap space and now have $30 million to spend on day one of NBA free agency, which starts this Thursday, June 30th. Stay tapped in with New York Knicks Now throughout free agency. You're not going to regret it. Also, show me some love over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm starting to tweet about the Knicks more and more now that we're in the heartbeat of the NBA offseason. So show me some love. Give me a follow. And everyone that follows me from this video, I'll make sure to follow you back.